So, Heidi, this is effectively Mark Kingon's third stint in this 90-day post of Acting Sars Commissioner.
Exactly. So he was appointed in March when Tom Moyane was suspended by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he has now been reappointed as Acting Commissioner. And this is because the President is in the process of finding a new Commissioner. The process is now opened. We saw from Finance Minister Tito Mbowene's statement that they are going to compile a shortlist and go through a whole interview process, and they will then pass that on to the President and make a decision on who they believe will be the best person to head up SARS. And it's a very important position because we need to restore credibility in our revenue service. We saw from the Nugent Commission how many witnesses came through and spoke about the fear and intimidation that they experienced. A lot of highly skilled people left the revenue collector from 2014 to about the middle of this year, and he will really need to restore credibility. The President needs to ensure that this commission is appointed very fast.
So, I mean, if you think about Mark Kingon, he's testified before the Nugent Commission of Inquiry, and in fact, I remember him breaking down on the stand when he described sort of his passion around restoring the credibility of SARS. He says he's been working to do just that. If you think about that list that the President is set to decide from, is he on that list?
I'm sure he's on that list, given the fact that he was trusted to be in that position and to act in that position. And his position has been, extended 3 times now. So surely he will be on that list. And I mean, the letter even says from Finance Minister Tito Mboweni that whoever wishes to apply should do so. And I mean, just getting the sense from the Acting Commissioner, Mark Kingon, is that, he's more than willing to do so. He wants to serve at the Revenue Service, and if he is entrusted to do so, he's definitely on that list, I think. It's a bit frustrating because we don't know who else is on that list. But I'm sure that the President will appoint shortly, but also it is a process that he needs to follow. It is not done within a split second where he can just decide who will be the Commissioner, given the fact that there are so many issues at the Revenue Collector.
Any word from the Presidency itself around when this position will be finalized?
We have no idea when this position will be finalized. I think this confirmation from the Finance Minister Tito Mboweni just actually brings to light that they are dealing with this quite quickly, given the fact that they really do need to restore credibility. We don't know when the President will choose the next SARS Commissioner. I wonder if it's going to be this year, but we do know that the Nugent Commission will release its final report to the President today, if it has not done so already, given the fact that he was given a 2-week extension and today is the deadline to do so. And I think the President will also look into that to make sure that there aren't any other further recommendations or any other people that have been brought into all this corruption that we've seen at SARS that he should look out for.
So you talk about the Nugent Commission of Inquiry's report. That deadline for the submission of that report, as you say, is today. That interim report making significant recommendations regarding the future of Tom Moyane and what should happen to him in terms of his suspension. We know that has now been enacted by the President. What other recommendations do you reckon we will see? We heard some shocking testimony throughout the Nugent Commission of Inquiry around various issues. What do you see as some of the key recommendations that will come out of it?
It's very difficult to tell, Michelle, given the fact that we saw almost over 100 witnesses coming through. You must remember that this commission started in June and it ended at the end of October, and this Nugent Commission has now gone back to deal with, very important issues. I think there are a lot of issues at SARS, specifically dealing with the illicit tobacco industry. That was recommended. There were a lot of recommendations coming out in the interim report about that. But I think a lot of what was in the interim report will just be expanded on and extended on in the final report. It's very difficult to tell, though, because I think this will be an extensive report as to what really went down. And the fact that the Nugent Commission recommended from the onset that Tom Moyane should be removed, you can only imagine what will be in the final final report.
Be interesting to see what comes out of that final report. Thanks very much for that. Our reporter Heidi Jakos is tracking that story for us. It is our breaking news story this hour. Mark Kingon, the Acting Sars Commissioner, now being reappointed for a third 90-day stint by Finance Minister Tito Mboweni. More on that story throughout the day.